Hello from gardening at Douentza here in Ireland, and this is a haul video. I'm here to show you the plants I bought at my recent get-together in Johnstown Garden Centre. Lots of house plants, lots of pretty things, so let's just talk through them. Okay, so I'm here behind all of these plants, and I'll make no excuses for the fact that you can't see me because I'm feeling really rotten now with a cold, so you'll just have to bear with my croaky voice as well. Now, before we get stuck into it, the first thing I want to show you is this Hippeastrum that's just coming into flower. I didn't actually buy that at Johnstown at all. In fact, you'll have seen me buy this in the recent euphorbia repotting cactus video that I made, and I just wanted to show you how it's coming into flower now. Stems are shorter than they should be, but actually, you know, that's no harm because these things can get so tall that they fall over without proper staking, so I'm quite happy that it's a short one. Okay, so what I got, and I guess the first thing I really want to talk about is this glorious orchid. And if you looked at my last video, you'll have seen myself and Liga almost had a fight over it. I'm only joking, we didn't really fight, but there was only one of its kind at Johnstown, and it's just so pretty. And it has quite a mild fragrance, but a very pretty fragrance. And it's an oncidium, no ID, it's just the labelling, but looking at that now I can see that there's Odontoglossum in the parentage, or what used to be called Odontoglossum. Just gorgeous. Now, unfortunately, these hybrids that you get in garden centres, you know, they're not labelled, they don't have ID, and if you look down at the pseudobulbs here, it's not very strong plant. There are only 2 pseudobulbs, and I don't yet see a new growth starting, and the mix that it's in is really quite terrible. But you know what, I felt I really deserved a treat, and it was the one that really struck and sang out to me when I went in, so I bought it, and I'm glad I did. And it didn't blast its flowers despite me getting it home, so I'm very pleased with that. Okay, so the next thing I suppose I want to show you is this big plant here. And the minute I went into Johnstown and saw this, I just thought, I want that. And I recognised it as a plant that I've seen growing outdoors in places like Tenerife, and in the Palm House and the Botanic Gardens. They have beautiful specimens. Now, its name is, I'm going to put the names up on the screen, but Ficus lyrata. There you go. In fact, that whole fig genus is enormous. There are so many houseplants that fit into it, and I just love the enormous big leaves. And it seems as the plant goes up, the leaves get bigger and bigger. And they had larger specimens in Johnstown, but this was a smaller one, and I think, you know, I can grow quickly enough. Now, as I was planning to leave, I hadn't yet put this one in my basket, and I was talking to my friend Liga and saying, oh, will I buy it, won't I buy it? And she turned to me and she said, the first thing you mentioned when I arrived here was that house plant. You should buy it, otherwise you're going to be sorry. And she was right, and so I bought it, and I'm really pleased with it. Yeah, super. Okay, so what else have we got here? And let's see, I suppose I'll show you the other house plant, which is this gorgeous little thing with loads of markings on it, and this is called Fittonia, White Anne. And my friend Linda recommended this. She said, I think she had grown it for years and years, and she really loved it. She bought one too, a bigger one. But I thought, it's pretty. I need to give it a go. I think it's a highlight plant or a windowsill plant, but I need to do some research on it now. But isn't it gorgeous? Just so pretty. And you know, if you put the contrast in leaf markings together with this other one, it really is most gorgeous. So I'm going to give that little fellow a whirl. Very pleased with that. And then And that was in the garden centre. And the great thing about our get-together, or one of the great things about the get-together, is that we get a 20% discount. So that's really nice, and yeah, always nice. I also bought in the garden centre this pretty little Scilla. Name going up on the screen, but isn't it just so gorgeous? It just sings springtime. Now this little one is going out to the greenhouse very shortly, and I don't know, maybe I won't plant it in the garden, maybe I'll just keep it in a pot in the greenhouse, because imagine having that to look forward to every spring in a place where it's easily accessible. I think I might just do that. And then in terms of swaps, I got these from my friend Brian, and this is a Cardiocrinum. I think he felt kind of sorry for me. Oh look, there's a free slug. I'll just put that out. He felt sorry for me because last summer my Cardiocrinum broke off at the base, and even though it was in bud, it was about to flower after the 7 years, I lost it and I didn't get it to flower, so that was very sad. So thank you, Brian, that's great. And also an Eremerus, I'll put the name up on the screen, a seedling, which seems to have gotten broken in transit. Oh dear, we'll see what happens with that. But that's really good. And also, just very unattractive looking at this time of year, I'll just show you these divisions of hostas that Brian also gave me, and you saw me pointing into the boot of his car in that last video at these hosta divisions. Now, it's a brilliant time of year for dividing plants, and Brian was kind enough to divide up some of these variegated hostas and give them out to people at the get-together. And when I replanted my border last autumn, the shady end was lacking plants. I just didn't have enough shady plants, so that's where those ones are going. So thank you very much, Brian. And just to let you know that Brian's garden we've visited before, so at the very end of this video I'm going to put a link to that visit to Brian's garden, so you'll know who I'm talking about and you'll see how great his hostas are in real life. So I also got a few more things. We got some stakes for cymbidiums. You saw me opening my exchange present. It's a bird planter. I got these cute bulbs. Look at these. Now these are intergeneric cross between Amarine and Hippeastrum, if I'm not mistaken. So the flowers really look very much like Amarines. So I'm going to pop these bulbs up. And of course Liga was there with me together. We just found the ones that had the biggest bulbs with the most offshoots. And I'm going to put these in a pot in the greenhouse. They're going to be lovely. And while I was there, I also got my hand on some sphagnum moss for orchids and a small bag of orchid potting compost, because we're going to be really stuck now. There's nowhere you can buy a large volume of orchid bark in Ireland, especially since the orchid fair, which we normally have in April, is now no longer going to have vendors from the UK because of Brexit, of course. So, you know, I'm going to be really stuck for orchid bark. So, yeah, I need to buy small quantities of decent stuff whenever I can. And just the last thing I want to show you is over the other side of the table. So, over we go. It's kind of tricky. And it's these tall pots, tall clay pots. Now, you all know I have a terrible penchant for clay pots and tend to pick them up wherever I go, but these have a specific purpose in mind. So I have an order that is on its way to me, and these are going to prove very handy for potting up that order. And that's all I'm going to say about that particular order for the moment. You're going to have to wait and see what it's all about. Right, so that was my Johnstown get-together haul. I hope you enjoyed looking at these lovely plants. And if you have any notes on some of these house plants and how you grow them in your environment, please let me know. Except, of course, if you're in Florida. Oh my goodness, I don't want to hear how you grow these outside. I just can't do that. So jealous hearing all those wonderful stories of the fantastic climate you have down here, whereas here in the temperate zone, it's such a horrible, dull, overcast time of year. But yeah, so do let me know anyway about those houseplants and how you grow them. And that's all for the moment. Thank you very much for watching, and check back soon for lots more plant fun. And if by any chance you're not already subscribed, consider subscribing, because then you'll be notified of any new videos I post. Thanks very much. Bye.